The 1982 United States Washington quarter dollar is one of the most discussed coins among modern collectors, not because it is rare in ordinary circulation, but because of its historical and production significance within the U.S. mint system. Struck at the Denver Mint, indicated by the D mint mark below the wreath on the reverse, this coin belongs to a transitional period in American coinage history. In 1982, the U.S. Mint made a crucial decision to suspend the production of uncirculated mint sets due to budgetary constraints and low public demand. As a result, there were no official mint sets released that year, which has made well-preserved 1982 quarters significantly more desirable to collectors. The 1982 D quarter was minted primarily for general circulation, with a total mintage of approximately 480 million pieces, making it one of the most common quarters of its era. However, despite its large production number, finding examples in pristine condition, especially with full luster, sharp strikes, and no bag marks, can be surprisingly challenging. This coin belongs to the Washington Quarter series, first introduced in 1932 to commemorate the 200th anniversary of George Washington's birth. Designed by John Flanagan, the obverse of the 1982 D quarter features a left-facing bust of George Washington, with the inscriptions Liberty above, In God We Trust to the left, and the date, 1982, below the truncation of Washington's neck. The reverse depicts a heraldic eagle with outstretched wings perched on a bundle of arrows, with two olive branches beneath it, symbolizing both military readiness and peace. The inscriptions United States of America and E Pluribus Unum appear above the eagle, while quarter dollar is inscribed along the bottom rim. The edge of the coin is reeded, and it has a standard composition for the modern era, a copper-nickel-clad layer over a pure copper core. Specifically, the outer layers consist of 75% copper and 25% nickel, giving the coin its characteristic silver-gray color and resistance to corrosion. One interesting aspect of the 1982 D quarter lies in the variety of die states and minting quality encountered among surviving examples. Because the mint focused heavily on mass production during the early 1980s to meet circulation needs, die wear and maintenance were not always optimal. Some coins show weak strikes, die cracks, or slight doubling, particularly in the inscriptions, In God We Trust, or the date. There are also known varieties, such as the wide rim and narrow rim types, as well as planchet errors where the copper core is visible on the surface due to improper cladding. Although these errors are not unique to 1982 D quarters, they add to the intrigue for collectors who specialize in minting anomalies. The absence of mint sets in 1982 has made high-grade 1982 D quarters a bit of a treasure for coin enthusiasts. Circulated examples are extremely common and worth only their face value of 25 cents, but uncirculated or mint state MS specimens graded by professional services such as PCGS or NGC can command much higher prices. As of recent market data, a 1982 D quarter in MS65 condition can sell for between $10 and $25, while MS67 examples, which are exceptionally well struck and virtually flawless, can exceed $150 to $300, depending on market demand and eye appeal. Proof-like or fully lustrous examples with clean surfaces are rare and often attract strong interest at auctions. Collectors also value this coin as a representative of a transitional moment in U.S. coin collecting when inflation and federal cost-cutting measures led to a decline in the mint's numismatic offerings. Because 1982 was one of only 2 years, along with 1983, during which no official mint sets were issued, the coins from those years must be found from circulation or from rolls and bags distributed to banks. This situation has made both 1982 and 1983 Washington quarters more difficult to find in pristine condition than coins from many other years in the same series. As a result, the 1982 D stands out as a modest but historically significant piece, a reminder of the balance between everyday commerce and numismatic heritage in modern America. Finally, beyond its monetary or collector value, the 1982 D Washington quarter carries the enduring national symbolism expressed through its mottos and imagery. The inscription, In God We Trust, reflects the nation's long-standing moral and spiritual ideals, while liberty recalls the foundational American principles celebrated in every piece of U.S. currency. George Washington's portrait remains a powerful emblem of leadership, integrity, and unity, values that the U.S. Mint sought to preserve through every issue, whether circulated in millions or cherished by collectors in perfect condition. In short, the 1982 quarter dollar is more than a simple coin. It represents a living piece of 20th century American history, an artifact of economic transition. Next top. The United States of America quarter dollar dated 1983 with a P mint mark is a fascinating and historically important issue within the long-running Washington quarter series, representing a key moment in modern U.S. coinage. Struck at the Philadelphia Mint, as indicated by the P located to the right of George Washington's ponytail on the obverse, this coin was produced during a period of significant transition in American currency manufacturing and circulation. The 1983 P quarter belongs to the generation of clad coinage that began in 1965, after the Mint eliminated silver from circulating quarters due to rising silver prices and economic necessity. Yet, what makes the 1983 P particularly distinctive in numismatic history is that, just like the 1982 quarters, no official mint sets or proof sets were issued for collectors that year, a rarity in modern minting practice. Every 1983 P quarter, therefore, was released directly into circulation, making high-quality uncirculated specimens unusually difficult to find. This circumstance gives the coin special historical and collectible value, elevating it far above its ordinary face worth of 25 cents. The obverse design of the 1983 P quarter features the timeless portrait of George Washington, the nation's first president, and an enduring symbol of leadership, integrity, and unity. The design was originally created in 1932 by sculptor John Flanagan, adapted from a marble bust sculpted by French artist Jean-Antoine Houdon in 1786. Flanagan rendering shows Washington in profile, facing left, his expression dignified and resolute, with flowing hair tied back in a queue typical of the late 18th century. Above his head arcs the word liberty, one of the most fundamental principles of American democracy and the core ideal upon which the Republic was founded. To the left of Washington's profile is the national motto, "In God We Trust," first used on coinage during the Civil War and officially declared the national motto in 1956. Beneath Washington's neck appears the date, 1983, and just to its right, the letter P, denoting the Philadelphia Mint, which, after 1980, began using its P mint mark on all denominations except the Lincoln cent. The coin's clean lines, bold lettering, and balanced spacing make this obverse design one of the most enduring and visually satisfying in U.S. numismatics. Though seemingly simple, the image communicates a blend of moral authority and democratic accessibility. Washington's gaze is forward-looking yet calm, symbolizing both vigilance and virtue. The reverse of the 1983 P quarter retains the classic design that had been in use since 1932, a heraldic eagle, wings spread in a posture of readiness, standing above a bundle of arrows symbolizing defense and strength. Beneath the arrows lies an olive branch, representing peace. Together, these two emblems express the philosophy of strength balanced by restraint, the idea that the United States seeks peace, but will defend its liberty if necessary. The eagle's head is turned to its right, toward the olive branch, reinforcing that preference for peace over conflict. The inscriptions on the reverse include United States of America along the upper rim and E pluribus unum, out of many one, above the eagle's head, with quarter dollar appearing along the lower rim. The arrangement of text and imagery conveys symmetry and order, qualities that reflect both the neoclassical style favored in early American design and the moral clarity associated with national symbolism. This reverse design would remain in use until 1998, before being replaced by the 50-state quarters program in 1999, which modernized the series and introduced new thematic diversity. In terms of composition and physical characteristics, the 1983 P quarter follows the copper-nickel-clad format established after the Coinage Act of 1965. Each coin has a pure copper core and outer layers composed of 75% copper and 25% nickel, creating the familiar silvery color and durable surface of modern quarters. The coin measures 24.26 millimeters in diameter, 1.75 millimeters in thickness, and weighs 5.67 grams. Its reeded edge, a legacy from the days when precious metals were used, prevents shaving or counterfeiting and provides a tactile distinction between denominations. While earlier silver quarters emitted a clear ringing tone when dropped, the copper-nickel-clad coins of the modern era produce a duller sound, reflecting their base metal content. However, the shift away from silver made coinage more practical and economical for daily commerce, allowing the mint to produce millions of pieces at low cost while preserving aesthetic continuity. The Philadelphia Mint, where the 1983 P quarter was produced, is the oldest and historically most important of the U.S. mint facilities, first established in 1792 under President Washington himself. By 1983, the Philadelphia facility had become a technologically advanced next hop. The 1984 United States quarter dollar, bearing the familiar motto, "In God We Trust" and the word liberty, is part of the long-running Washington Quarter series, one of the most enduring and iconic coin designs in American history. First introduced in 1932 to commemorate the 200th anniversary of George Washington's birth, the design by sculptor John Flanagan features a right-facing bust of President Washington on the obverse front side. On this 1984 issue, the inscriptions include Liberty above Washington's head, the national motto, "In God We Trust" to the left, and the date, 1984, below his bust. The D mint mark, located just to the right of Washington's ponytail, signifies that this particular coin was struck at the Denver Mint in Colorado. Like most modern quarters minted between 1965 and 1998, the 1984 D quarter is composed of a copper-nickel-clad alloy, an outer layer of 75% copper and 25% nickel bonded to a pure copper core, giving the coin a silvery appearance and a total weight of 5.67 grams, a diameter of 24.3 millimeters, and a reeded, grooved edge. The reverse of the coin, the back, features an American bald eagle with outstretched wings clutching a bundle of arrows and olive branches beneath it, symbolizing both strength and peace. Surrounding the eagle are the inscriptions, United States of America at the top, E pluribus unum, out of many one, just above the eagle's head, and the denomination quarter dollar at the bottom. In terms of historical context, the 1984 D quarter was struck during the presidency of Ronald Reagan, a period of economic recovery and renewed patriotic pride in the United States. This was a time before the introduction of state quarters, so the design still reflected the traditional national symbols rather than the state-by-state commemorations that began in 1999. The Denver Mint produced a massive quantity of quarters that year, over 500 million coins, making the 1984 D common in circulation. Because of this large mintage, most 1984 D quarters hold face value, 25 cents, unless they are in exceptional uncirculated or proof-like condition. However, collectors often seek high-grade examples certified by grading services like the Professional Coin Grading Service, PCGS, or Numismatic Guarantee Company, NGC, especially those with crisp details, bright luster, and no signs of wear. In top grades, such as MS, 67 or higher, the coin can be worth tens or even hundreds of dollars, depending on market demand and visual quality. Another feature of interest to numismatists, coin collectors, involves the study of mint errors and varieties. Occasionally, a 1984 D quarter may display striking anomalies like die cracks, off-center strikes, double dies, or misaligned dies, which can significantly enhance its collectible value. One well-known variety among 1980s quarters includes light or faint mint marks due to worn dies, as well as weak strikes that make the details of Washington's hair or the eagle's feathers less sharp. Although there are no widely recognized major errors specific to the 1984 D issue, any unusual flaw can make an example more desirable to specialists. From a design and cultural standpoint, the Washington Quarter remains a symbol of American heritage and civic pride. The portrait of George Washington, the nation's first president and a revered founding father, embodies leadership, integrity, and national unity. The inclusion of mottos such as "In God We Trust" and "E Pluribus Unum" highlights the deep connection between faith, unity, and identity that underpins U.S. coinage. The 1984 D-Quarter's blend of copper and nickel not only makes it durable for everyday commerce, but also symbolizes accessibility, a coin that passed through millions of hands during the late 20th century, from vending machines and parking meters to daily purchases across every state. Even though it is not made of silver like earlier pre-1965 issues, it remains part of the same lineage of design and meaning that ties modern America to its historical roots. Collectors and historians often view coins like the 1984 D-Quarter as tangible records of the era in which they were minted, small metal documents of art, economy, and national sentiment. In 1984, the United States Mint continued to improve its minting technology, ensuring better die life and consistent strikes, while still using designs that had been in place for over 5 decades. Today, holding a 1984 D-Quarter connects us to the craftsmanship and history of the U.S. Mint's work during the Reagan era, a time of optimism and transformation. For anyone beginning a collection, this coin offers both affordability and historical depth, serving as a link between America's past and its ongoing story told through coinage. Next top. The 1985 United States quarter dollar, struck at the Denver Mint and bearing the mint mark D, is part of the enduring Washington Quarter series, one of the most iconic and widely circulated coins in American history. This coin, like its predecessors and contemporaries, honors the first president of the United States, George Washington, whose portrait has graced the quarter since 1932. The design was created by sculptor John Flanagan, who based it on a bust of Washington sculpted by Jean-Antoine Houdon in the late 18th century. On the obverse front of the 1985 D-Quarter, Washington's right-facing profile dominates the coin, exuding a dignified and calm expression symbolizing leadership and patriotism. Above his head appears the word liberty, one of the core American ideals, and to the left, in smaller capital letters, is the national motto, "In God We Trust." Beneath the bust is the date 1985, marking the year of issue, and just beside the ponytail of Washington's portrait is the small but distinct D mint mark, representing the Denver Mint in Colorado, one of the primary facilities responsible for striking circulating coinage for the United States. The reverse back design, which remained unchanged from 1932 until 1998, features a striking image of the American bald eagle, the national bird and symbol of freedom. The eagle stands proudly with its wings spread wide, clutching a bundle of arrows in its talons, a representation of strength and readiness to defend the nation, while resting above an olive branch, symbolizing peace and diplomacy. Above the eagle's head are the words "E Pluribus Unum," a Latin phrase meaning "out of many, one," reflecting the unity of the American states into one federal nation. Around the upper rim of the coin are the words "United States of America," while at the bottom appears the denomination quarter dollar. The balance of the eagle and the inscriptions gives the reverse a sense of both power and symmetry, embodying the ideals of American democracy and unity. In terms of composition and specifications, the 1985 D-Quarter is made of the same copper-nickel-clad alloy that has been standard for U.S. quarters since 1965. This means that the coin has an outer layer of 75% copper and 25% nickel bonded to a pure copper core. The coin weighs 5.67 grams, measures 24.26 millimeters in diameter, and has a reeded edge, with 119 small grooves, that helps prevent counterfeiting and wear. Though it appears silver in color, there is no actual silver content. Silver was removed from circulating quarters after 1964 due to rising metal costs. Despite this, the copper-nickel alloy is durable, corrosion-resistant, and ideal for everyday commerce, ensuring that coins like the 1985 D-Quarter could circulate for decades without losing detail or usability. The 1985 D-Quarter was produced during the administration of President Ronald Reagan, a period characterized by economic recovery, technological progress, and a renewed sense of national pride. The mid-1980s saw the United States transitioning from the economic challenges of the previous decade into a phase of industrial and financial growth. During this time, the Denver Mint struck over 520 million 1985 D quarters, a massive mintage number that ensured these coins would become a common sight in circulation across the country. Because of this high mintage, the coin is not considered rare in most grades. However, well-preserved examples, particularly those that were never circulated and retain their original luster, are of special interest to numismatists, coin collectors. From a collectability standpoint, the 1985 D Washington quarter is usually valued at face value, 25 cents, in circulated condition, since most examples show signs of wear from years of handling. However, uncirculated specimens, those graded mint state, MS, by professional grading services such as PCGS or NGC, can be worth significantly more. A 1985 D quarter in MS 65 gem uncirculated condition typically carries a value between $10 and $20, while coins graded MS 67 or higher, which display flawless surfaces, sharp details, and strong mint luster, can command prices of $100 or more, depending on demand. Truly exceptional examples in MS 68 are exceedingly scarce and may be valued even higher, as the smallest imperfection can drastically affect grading at that level. Collectors also pay close attention to errors and varieties, which can make an otherwise ordinary 1985 D quarter unique and valuable. Some known anomalies include off-center strikes, clipped planchets, where a portion of the coin's edge is missing due to an error in the blank cutting process, die cracks, and weak strikes where the design appears faint. Although there are no major, double die varieties recorded for the 1985 D issue, collectors are always examining coins under magnification to identify any subtle variations in the lettering or date that might indicate a die anomaly.
Coins with Distin.